Chapter 221. The God Standing in the Square. 1. While talking about sacrificing herself for the kingdom, Jung smiled brightly. As I looked at her smiling face, I suddenly recalled the memories of the trauma. Right. Beyond the fact that I was simply Kim Gongja, young master of the infernal heavens asterisk, and the moon of the Ivancha family, I remembered the scenes that I'd witnessed when I fell into the trauma. Asterisk, infernal heavens, not demonic cult. I've pretty much witnessed the Tower Master's life. The moment Jung rose to noble ranks. When she first became a baron, she instantly pushed the capital city into a whirlpool of political strife by marrying a relative of the same sex. In every memory, Viscount Jung is smiling. And in all of the scenes I saw, Viscount June was smiling happily. Even though my ability was to see trauma. That's not all. I even knew that Jung would eventually gain the title of Duke. Even the things that happened next, I'd already seen them before. So why? Why did I see even Jung's happy moments? Why did I see the moments after this? No way. Now that I knew about Jung's power, I realized a possibility. It was a possibility that was almost improbable. So much so that it would be hard for an ordinary person to even think about it. However, as someone who had performed 4,000 days of regression, it was a conclusion that I could easily reach. The Tower Master's entire life is a trauma. Regardless of how happily she smiled. From the time she was born until now, there was no time that wasn't trauma. Upon realizing this, I unwittingly opened my mouth. For how long? Viscount Jung turned to look at me. I told her. For how long will you enforce the golden ruler? Viscount Jung smiled. Forever. Until there are no more victimized subjects? Yes. Not just the subjects. Didn't this one tell the advisor, no, Mr. Gongja? Viscount Jung leaned close to me and whispered into my ear. This one will go beyond this kingdom and cover the entire world. I'm sorry, but I took a peek into Mr. Gongja's memories. Mr. Gongja is looking at this one's memories, so it seems like a fair trade. As I expected. Viscount Jung had the power to see someone else's past. There was no way she wouldn't look into the past of an irregular person like me who suddenly appeared. You are the young master of the infernal heavens. You lead a very interesting group, Mr. Gongja. Well. You're bound to have such relationships when you're like that. The Viscount looked at me as if she was looking at a cherished junior. I know you want to stop this one. You do not want to watch someone be in pain. However, Mr. Gongja, please stick to your duties. Duties. You are the one who sides with the powerless more than anyone else. Someone has to take the lead in enforcing the golden rule. To replace the cries of the weak. Isn't that your duty? Do not try to stop me. This is a warning. Viscount Jung touched my ear. This one has a bad habit of inadvertently destroying the lovely children she sees. Mr. Gongja, you don't think you're the first person to try to stop this one, do you? Do you know how many tears His Majesty, who is sitting on that throne, shed? If this one were to collect the tears of all of my lovers, we wouldn't need to worry about a drought next year. That was probably not a lie. The warning given to me was not a bluff either. Because God always gave warnings before she destroyed humans. The Tower Master had already warned me once by trying to stop me from viewing her trauma. And just like that time, I opened my mouth despite that warning. Does doing this make you happy? Yes. Small nails gently scratched my ear. Can't you feel it? This one is overjoyed. This one possesses my lover's happiness and unhappiness. One of this one's smiles is enough to make those children happy, and one of this one's glances is enough to make them unhappy. How could it not be enjoyable? Even if you continue to be tortured in the future? Even if I continue to be tortured in the future. Why? Do you accept even pain as happiness? Viscount Jaw.
So,
Jung smiled. Pain hurts. However, there's an even sweeter reward in front of me. What is that? The tears this one's lovers will shed. As they watch this one suffer, their hearts will collapse and their visages will crumble. It's a sight so sweet that I want to keep looking at it. You love your lovers. To put your loved ones in pain is. It is wrong, but all of the children that this one loves are those who have killed or ruined others. Then isn't it natural for such children to suffer? I told you before, Mr. Gongja. You are not the first, and you will not be the last to try and stop this one. This one made this moment to bring harm to this one. Made. Yes. Indulging in misfortune is something of a hobby. It's like a taste for seeing the beauty in broken people. This one's appearance and eloquence is enough to capture them. Talent. Achievements that no one can deny, and skills that no one can protest against. This one tried to achieve it, and did it. Shall I prove it to you? At that moment, there was a commotion in the middle of the assembly. The disturbance has ended. It was a large noble with horns on his head. The noble's voice was as loud as his size, and when he shouted, the amniotic fluid shook. The rebellions have been suppressed. The panic has ended. Now, we just have to clean up the mess. There is no need for such extreme laws. I used Baron Guwon's information spell to read the noble's personal details. Plus. Pa Sanwu. Identity, noble. Margrave. Relationship, Viscount's political rival. Danger rating, white. Remarks, head of the Cow Count family. In the past, he was involved in the kidnapping of another family's young Mississippi. He aided and abetted the kidnapping, resulting in the destruction of a fief. Bordered in the northeast, by the Bear Count, famous for its mining industry. All of the mining slaves that flee from the neighboring territory Bear are captured and returned to the Bear Count. Neutral. Can kill. Plus. It wasn't just Count Pa Sanwu. That's ridiculous. No. A noble who seemed to be about the same age as Viscount Jia.
So,
Jung muttered despairingly. The noble went through the document in his hands before flipping it through its pages one by one, then two by two, then three by three, before finally grabbing the entire document. Members of the Viscount's faction. Did know you? About this? Those behind Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung did not answer. Then, the noble clenched his teeth. Regardless of the reason, for a girl with age similar to mine. No, even if it isn't a girl. The logic behind it doesn't matter. I hate this bill. I just hate it. I also read that noble's personal information. Plus. Sun Johei. Identity, noble. Marquis. Relationship, none. Danger rating, white. Remarks, head of the Crab Marquis family. When he was young, he wandered off to sea with a strong sense of adventure, but he met a marine dragon and was cursed. He lost his memory and his ego. Due to his immaturity, the Marquis used his family crest and lodged with a dragon country, which eroded the foundation of the Marquis power. Contrary to his external appearance, the age of his ego is 13 years or younger. Unaware of the fact that rebels had been gathering in his own territory, the Marquis had inadvertently been a great help in the East Sea Rebellion. Neutral. Can kill. Plus. Afterward, many nobles opened their mouths. And each time I read their information, I found the same thing. None. Not a single one. None of them are without sin, not even one. Those records had been written by the original owner of this body. The person known as Baron Gu.
Ha!
In this entire assembly. Not even one person. Marquis Baek Seol to murdered a child. Viscount Sun Hyuk-sin was a cannibal. Viscount Dae.
Ha!
Ran slaughtered civilians. Count Pa Sanwoo ruined a fief. Marquis Sun Jo-hae failed to stop a rebellion. Baron Hae Myung-seum, the apathetic duke, the Sun King. Some were ignorant. Some were incompetent. Some just didn't care. Hundreds of nobles with thousands of excuses for hundreds of circumstances. But the commonalities were clear. Among them, there was not a single person who hadn't sinned before. Everyone. That was why Viscount Ja Young was so relaxed. Everyone has been too relaxed over the past 1,000 years, especially in the past 600 years and even more so in the past 60 years. None of them had saved more people than Viscount Ja Young. What did you do when tens of thousands of subrace slaves were dying in the bear counts or mines? Did you not know? Did you not have the power to interfere? Were you not ready? Perhaps that's the reason. However, hundreds of years are far too long for such an excuse to work. None of these people were more competent than Viscount Ja Young. The disturbances have ended? The rebellions have ended? Do you think the disturbances have ended because the conspicuous enemies are gone? Do you think they're really gone? Everyone. They are not gone, they are just holding themselves back. Those who were whipped in the back will never forget the pain they suffered. That was right. The families with dead loved ones will never forget the temperature of the soil around their grave. That was why in a different world, a being known as the Heavenly Demon bowed. Those who were forced to avoid carriages on the road would not forget that humiliation. The mother would never forget her son, who was conscripted but never returned, when she lay in bed. On a winter day when there is nothing to eat, people would never forget the pain in their mouths from chewing bark. That was why, a being known as the Heavenly Demon bowed. That was why, a being known as the Heavenly Demon bowed. That was why, a being known as the Heavenly Demon bowed. Did they just disappear? Is it all in the past now? Are their grudges old and don't need to be resolved, or are they too boring to be worth hearing? They couldn't be. They can't be. And that was why they bowed down. They're not joking. This world was no different, no world was different. Someone had to bow. So it was in this world. An untouched stone in Baron Shin Wheel-suk's territory rolled over on its own. The people murmured, saying that it was a bad sign when the rocks in the territory began to wander on their own. And young Miss Baek Seol killed a commoner child with a whip. Every night, the water in the great river boiled for no reason. Frogs jumped out from the waterways, buried their heads in the ground and died. In the royal capital, lightning struck 26 times in a single day. The fortune teller at the north gate said, "It's a bad omen because 26 is the number 13 doubled." And Viscount Dae ran slaughtered civilians. The fortune teller was considered a criminal because he recklessly foretold the fortune of the nation. The royal guards pulled the fortune teller aside and beat him up. On the same day, the rainy season had not yet arrived, but the river overflowed, blocking all of the roads leading to the royal capital. And the Sun King didn't come out of the palace. You all, the people in power, need to take responsibility for the past. There were several bad harvests. The epidemics never stopped. Time was like a rotten spine, with pus accumulated in every vertebra. The bodies of the dead floated endlessly in the overflowing river. All of this was intended or neglected by someone, so you will have to choose someone to be condemned by everyone. And in the center of this crumbling world, in the 12th month, a pillar in the shape of a girl who would try to support it, was born. Everyone will pick this one. The amniotic fluid was silent. After a long time, Marquis Sun Johei opened his mouth with a shaking voice. This, I hate it. Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung nodded. Yes. That's right. And said. What other results do you think were prepared? The original owner of this body must have searched desperately. Even one person would be fine. Baron Gu won.
Ha!
Loved Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung. I didn't know why and I couldn't see the reason, but I could feel the weight of the Baron's love in the words she'd written. Even if it's only one, there has to be someone among the rulers of this damned kingdom that's innocent. That's why the Baron began to record. Using magic, she examined each and every one of the nobles and wrote down the things they'd done. After taking over her body, I also looked at each of the nobles one by one, and read their information. But the records left by Gu Wan remained the same. A murderer. A butcher. A rebel. Someone who suppressed rebellions. A slave buyer. A slave seller. Those who made mistakes due to ignorance. Those who made mistakes due to incompetence. The information recorded by Baron Gu Wan was no different than a criminal disclosure. Of the hundreds of feet soaked in the amniotic fluid, there was not a single one that was not covered in the blood of others. So Baron Gu Wan gave up. She could not stop her master. Perhaps the reason why I gained control of her body at this time. The moment this thought appeared in my mind, I moved. Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung tilted her head to the side. Her purple eyes reflected me, who was standing in front of her. Did I not warn you, Mr. Gongjia? Trauma. I said. This made Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung tilt her head even more. Viscount. I've seen your trauma. I know. Aren't you still looking at it? It's not just this moment. The moment you became a baron, the moment you married your wife. I've seen almost every part of your life. I grabbed Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung's wrist. If you were truly happy, I would not have been able to see those scenes. Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung looked at me in confusion. Maybe it was only recently that this one started feeling a bit happier. Since you've already seen all of the hardships and adversity in this one's life. That means that today will be the start of true happiness. It's not. Her smile hadn't changed since that day. I even saw when you eventually became a duke. Her smile hadn't changed since then. Today, and after today, you will continue to experience trauma. That is a strange thing to say, Death King. Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung called me by my title, which I had never told her. She wasn't lying about viewing my past. Are you saying that this one has always been unhappy and was only pretending to be happy? I am a bit offended. If this one had been telling such a lie from the start, there is no way my lovers wouldn't notice, right? The god that never regresses. I got a bit closer to Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung. The reason your entire life is a trauma is simple. It's natural. Because you can look at another person's past at any time, anywhere. You saw the Marquis past, you saw the Viscount's past, and you even saw my past without my knowledge. In other words, there isn't a single moment when you're not seeing someone die. That couldn't not be painful. So your life is basically scarred by hundreds of millions of traumas. Closer. However, it's strange. You only recently got the gold dragon's eyes and ice river dragon's breath. This means that it hasn't been that long since you started looking at other people's pasts. And yet, you were experiencing pain all your life. I had also seen the days before Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung had the dragons. Even then, she suffered from the pain of reading other people's pasts. How? In those days, Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung shouldn't have had the power of the dragons, so how could she receive the pain of others? There was only one possibility. The God that never regresses, that is a ridiculous lie. You are the God that regresses. I looked at the young noble. You returned to the past with the powers of the dragons. So from birth, you were able to see the traumas of others. When she'd confronted the apathetic Duke, Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung was able to understand the Duke's life in an instant. As if she'd known from the beginning. When she met the Sun King, Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung had already known about the king's life. As if she knew from the beginning. You are constantly repeating your life. You regress, return. Return to live the same life. Every time, you live by saying what you know to say, and doing what you know to do. You constantly watch people suffer as you repeat this life continuously. That's why your entire life is a trauma. Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung was silent. So I asked her. Tower Master, how many times have you lived your own life? Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung was no longer smiling. Have you ever counted? She was expressionless. Without me realizing, time in the meeting hall had drawn to a standstill. Both Marquis Sun Johei, who had lowered his head and began to cry angrily, and the Sun King, who sat, unmoving, upon his throne, froze. Mr. Gongjia. In this time after the clock froze, Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung opened her mouth. Have you even counted the grains of sand as they float at the bottom of a river? The sands of the Yellow River. This one's answer is simple. There was no expression on Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung's face, as if she had been born expressionless. As if it was her original face. Her purple eyes shined indifferently at the world, and her lips did not smirk, sneer, or smile. Eternally. At that moment, the surrounding scene shattered. Chapter 222. The God standing in the square, 2. The world shattered like a mirror. Crack, crack. Slowly, little by little, the scene of the meeting hall crumpled. The amniotic fluid under my feet cracked. Marquis Bexioltu, who had been shivering beside me, cracked. The nobles all cracked. Crack, crack. Crack, crack. The world peeled away from the broken mirror. Through the cracks, scenes other than the scene of the meeting hall could be seen. Marquis Bexioltu wielding the whip. Viscount Day.
Ha!
Ran burning the village. The world shattered into hundreds of pieces. And screams leaked out of every crack. You're right. Mr. Gongjia. Kaleidoscope. This was Jia.
So?
Jung's world. Your deduction is correct. Splash. Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung walked in the center of the assembly with amniotic splashing around her feet. With every step she took, the world shattered even more. And in this broken scene, the scenes of other places could be seen. This life isn't this one's first life. I sucked in a breath of air. How many times has it been? I don't know. No, I know, but I'm not sure if I can give Mr. Gongja the answer you're looking for. You are worried that this one will collapse from exhaustion after repeating like billions of times, aren't you? That's right. Raviol was strong. Even if Raviol was imprisoned for 10 days that were repeated forever, her heart wouldn't rot easily. But what if, instead of 10 days, someone repeated their entire life, forever? What would happen to that person's heart? What kind of stench would come from them? This one was originally given one skill. After a while, Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung reached the center of the meeting hall. Even the throne that had cracked like glass. The throne's armrest had cracked, and in that crack, the scene of Viscount Sun Hyuksin eating people. One of the throne's legs had cracked too, and the scene of an unknown person dying could be seen there. Many dragons live and have lived in this world. Jia.
So?
Jung sat down. The throne with a cracked armrest and cracked leg. She rested her arm on the scene of people killing people and placed her leg over the scene of people being killed. There are people who made special contracts with dragons. The Dragon Guard. Dragon Knights. They go by many different names in each region, but they all have one thing in common. These people's descendants inherit the dragon bloodline. Dragon bloodline? Yes. You can think of it as a minor copy of the dragon's power. Jia.
So?
Jung ran her hand over the armrest. For example, let's say there was a dragon who had the ability to create a vast library that contained all the information in the universe. That is the dragon's power. On the other hand, the power of the dragon bloodline, at best, would be the ability to enter that library and borrow a book from time to time. Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung was expressionless. Her lips, which were no longer smiling, opened. The relationship between a dragon emperor and dragon knight can be compared to a god and their devotee. So those who have the dragon bloodline could be considered apostles. I paused. By apostle. Among the apostles that Mr. Gongja knows is the Lady of Golden Silk. The image of a young miss who cursed the world while wielding a large hammer came to mind. The Lady of Golden Silk's ability. Her body could not be damaged by physical attacks. This one's ability is perfect recollection. Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung spoke. This one remembers everything I've seen, heard, or felt. Not only do I remember them, I also have the ability to rewatch my memories as if they were lucid dreams. Have you ever seen a similar power, Mr. Gongja? I had. From a very close distance. I thought of the face of a certain part-timer who greeted customers with a smile at a cafe. Someone who had once been the owner of a great library that collected all of the records in the universe. The librarian of all things. Hamustra. The pond of accumulating memories. Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung said the librarian's true name. This one inherited Hamustra's power. A long time ago, an apostle who worshipped Hamustra as his god came to this kingdom. Although the apostle was eventually repelled, he left a descendant before he died. If we were to trace this one's family tree, we will eventually reach that apostle. It is thanks to that, Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung continued. This is possible. It was at this moment that Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung lifted her finger. Crack, crack. The mirror that covered the world shattered once more. Broken shards fell and collided with other falling shards. When two shards collided, they suddenly shined brightly and transformed into beautiful white butterflies. The two shards became the butterflies' wings. When the world shattered, millions of shards fell, becoming hundreds of thousands of butterflies that fluttered around together. Crack, 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 crack. Like petals in the wind, white butterflies filled this world. Come here, Mr. Gongja. Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung beckoned. I took a deep breath before walking toward the throne of mirrors. TL, the mirror faction, finally makes sense. Flap. White butterflies fluttered around me. One of them passed just in front of my nose. A voice escaped from the butterfly's wings. The count was killed in action, young miss. The butterfly was made of two shards. Each silvery wing had its own scene. The person reflected on one of this butterfly's wings was Count. Ru-ho. The young count's lips twitched slightly. What about first brother? There has been no word. He led a death squad out to retrieve the count's remains, but there has been no word from them yet. I don't dare to say it, but perhaps. Young Mississippi. It cannot be helped. Young Miss is also a member of the Tiger Count family. Misfortune comes to everyone, but the tiger bites those misfortunes, chews them up, then spits them back out at the world that dared to challenge it. I don't know anything about politics. I'm not ready. Humans aren't ready when they're born and they aren't ready when they die. Life isn't about being ready. It's about being able to endure. Young Miss, rise to Count Dong. The butterfly fluttered off gently. Into the kaleidoscope of butterflies. On the wings of one of the butterflies, Marquis Beck sealed to held back tears. There was also the scene of Viscount Sun Hyuk-sin gritting her teeth. Holding back anger, Viscount Day. Ran murmured. During the rebellion, those scumbags did nothing. But when they enter the council, they are all great admirals and generals. Fuck, should I kill those bastards? Hundreds of butterflies, each carrying sounds of their own, fluttered in the air. As you can see. Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung spoke to me as I reached the throne. All the past events that this one experienced are recorded here. Originally, this one only remembered my own life, but after I got the Gold Dragon's eyes, and Ice River Dragon's breath, I became able to store the lives of others. This is the world where all of this one's memories are recorded. Including you, only 2 people have been here. You should feel honored, Mr. Gongja. Was I invited to the Viscount's consciousness? Yes. That's right. Viscount Jia.
So?
Jung spread out her palm. According to you all, you are taking a peek at this one's skills. A golden card formed above it. Among the skills possessed by the Tower Master, this was the last card. Plus. Man-seeing. Rank EX. Effect, this was an ability that was originally at the level of perfect recollection. But it has blossomed after overlapping with several skills to become a higher level skill. It is a glass garden where the people, objects and events you have experienced are recorded. You can replay any number of memories stored here as you please. That's not all. Plus. Pudok. Something landed on the back of my hand. It was the butterfly I saw earlier. Aok. A red scene was being reflected on the surface of the glass wings. It was a scene I was fairly familiar with by now. Marquis Beck sealed to swinging the whip. It was just. The face of the child groaning under the whip was different. UK, hook. Aok. It was Jia.
So?
Jung's face. Much younger than now. For a moment, I forgot how to breathe. Viscount. What the hell is this? If the person Marquis Bexciolto had run into that day was this one instead of the peasant child. Whoosh. The thick whip dug into a young jaw.
So?
Young. The snow was stained with her blood. It's a scene that follows that assumption. This one is fully aware of the cause and effect of the past. If it was someone else, if something else had happened. Even the if scenarios can be reconstructed. Why would you reconstruct if scenarios? In order to know. A scream rang out. How painful it was for the child who died by the Marquis hand. In the scene on the glass wing, jaw.
So?
Jung fell to the ground, foaming at the mouth. People don't want to be easily understood. They don't like to feel sick, they don't like to feel pain, and they don't like it when someone says, I understand. Naturally. They are all strangers to each other. Whoosh. The small back twitched. Upon being whipped, jaw.
So?
Jung grabbed a handful of snow. As if she was desperately grasping onto her fading life. This one will stand in front of the people in this kingdom who have suffered. And I will say. I know how painful it was. The snow in her hand melted with her body temperature. It dripped down. As the snow dripped, it landed in the growing pool of blood. The transparent water gradually mixed in with the bright red liquid. The pain they suffered. The pain they endured. Only by knowing them will this one be able to tell them without lying. I know how much you suffered. This one will now experience the same amount of pain. The golden rule. Yes. That's right. Only this one can understand those who were sacrificed or marginalized by the kingdom. Resentment that can't be solved anywhere or by anyone, the people can take it out on this one. Do you see? This one isn't just comforting them out of sympathy. It's not just words. Viscount Jaw.
So?
Jung spoke. This one really understands. With clear eyes. I truly understand them. With this one ascending to dukedom, no one in this kingdom will be left out. Of course, that doesn't mean misfortune will stop. Someone will suffer. But now, the kingdom can understand their suffering through this one. Accept it. Release it. Confused, I looked around once again. Spare us. Please, General, spare us. It was hell. Aok. Hook. In the glass garden, Viscount Jaw.
So?
Jung bled and screamed on behalf of the others. Even in the pillars that supported the garden. Even in the archways supporting its domed roof. Even in the countless windows that lined the walls. Even in the hundreds of thousands of butterflies that fluttered around the pillars, beneath the dome and beside the walls. Everywhere you looked, Jaw.
So?
Jung was bleeding. My name is Bexciolto. Young miss of the Marquis family. It wasn't just that. This subject is a commoner. It is my honor. On one glass wing, young Miss Bexciolto came to apologize to Jaw.
So?
Jung. In this if scenario, Jaw.
So?
Jung didn't die. Jaw.
So?
Jung was stronger than the original commoner child. Healthier. Although her body had been damaged by the whip, she didn't die. This one's name is Jaw.
So?
Jung. Jaw.
So?
Jung? That's a strange name. Young Miss. In that world, Bexciolto and Jaw.
So?
Jung became closer. Jaw.
So?
Jung, who had been born as a commoner, was smart and capable enough to fill in young Miss Bexiold's lacking knowledge. Thanks to Ja Young's private tutoring, Bexiold was able to neatly complete her grandfather's homework. I was praised by grandfather for the first time. What should I do? I'm so happy. What should I do? My mouth won't stop smiling. Congratulations, young miss.
Yeah.
It was all thanks to Ja Young. Young Miss Bexiold grabbed Ja Young's hands and jumped around. There was none of the egotism and prejudice of nobles who claimed that they shouldn't breathe the same air. A small coincidence made a big difference. A small change created a meeting. A small encounter created a human. I will live for you. Viscount Sun Hyuk-sin, who had met Ja Young much earlier, smiled brightly. No, she wasn't a viscount. Sun Hyuk-sin had thrown off her nobility. Then, she entered the counterintelligence division with Ja Young. The two of them became close colleagues who caught the criminals in the kingdom one by one. You have to avoid massacring the civilians, General. Why? Ja Young pouted slightly at Viscount Day.
Ha!
Ran. Isn't faster to kill them? You can't do it just because it's fast. The cleanup afterward will be much faster. This place isn't that large, but the land will be returned to the royal territory anyway. The general needs to create subjects for the kingdom, not enemies. Countless shards. Countless butterflies. The countless worlds where Ja Young bled, screamed and died were displayed on the left wing of the butterflies. And on the other side were scenes of better possibilities. Scenes with no murderers or victims. This is what was shown on the butterfly's right wings. The countless butterflies in her world represented countless lives and deaths. Because this one wasn't there. Glass and butterflies. Blood and screams. Life and death. Because this one was too late. Because this one wasn't born yet. That's why all of the tragedies in this world happened. Underneath the white butterflies. God clasped her hands together as if she was praying to something. If this one had been by everyone's side, they would have had a better ending. They would have lived better lives. It's this one's fault for not always being by everyone's sides. Therefore, this one will suffer as much as they have suffered. For eternity. I finished reading the engraving on the card. Plus. Manseeing. Rank EX. Effect. This was an ability that was originally at the level of perfect recollection. But it has blossomed after overlapping with several skills to become a higher level skill. It is a glass garden where the people, objects and events you have experienced are recorded. You can replay any number of memories stored here as you please. That's not all. Through cause and effect, you know how past events transpired. The more accurately your grasp of the causes and effects are, the more accurately you can construct if scenarios. You can simulate the world. However, this skill can only be activated after you have acquired Gold Dragon's Eye and Ice River Dragon's Breath. Plus. It was the ability to create hell. Mr. Gongja. The Lord of Manseeing opened her mouth. You asked how many times this one has repeated this life. But it would be meaningless regardless of how many times my answer is. Because this one isn't just repeating my own life. The subjects of this kingdom. All of those who have lived and died during the time of this kingdom. This one lives all of their lives forever. That's why. The reason Viscount Ja Young's entire life is a trauma. The reason I saw her entire life unlike the others. The entire time. I was speechless. Are you always replaying these scenes in your head? Even while sitting in the meeting? Yes. Even while smiling in front of your lovers? Yes. Viscount Ja.
So,
Jung said. Sorry. Tuck. An expression from Viscount Ja.
so,
Jung's expressionless face. Sorry. I'm sorry you were born late. I'm sorry I couldn't live with you. I'm sorry I couldn't save you. Sorry. The butterflies flying around the garden seemed to say that word at the same time. The happy if scenarios disappeared. The silver wings only showed reality. Marquis Beck Seal to whipping the young commoner, Viscount Sun Hyuk Sin consuming human flesh, and Viscount Day
ha,
Ran burning the innocent villagers. Sorry. The young god was saying sorry to everyone. She was apologizing for all the death, all the disasters, and all the devastation the kingdom had suffered until now. To those who died to other people. Those who killed other people. About everything. I'm sorry, everyone. It was the only breath left in her heart. Viscount. Unable to take it any longer, I took a step forward. I'm sorry, Mr. Gongja. Viscount Ja.
so,
Jung grabbed my left hand. Because this one was not with Mr. Gongja. Something warm seemed to pass from her hand to mine. When I looked down, I saw a white butterfly with its wings folded. That's why Mr. Gongja was killed by.
yo, so, ha,
For a moment. My breathing stopped. That's why Mr. Gongja had no choice but to kill.
yo, so, ha,
Flap. The butterfly slowly unfolded its wings. And the world reflected on those wings became visible. Chapter 223. If 1. Looking back. Viscount Ja.
so,
Jung had clearly warned me. Do not try to stop this one. This is a warning. Just before I opened the Viscount's lock. She already knew I had the lock in my hand. If the Viscount was more ruthless, she would have made the key impossible to use. She wouldn't have answered the questions I asked, nor would she have responded to my piercing interrogation. Viscount Ja.
so,
Jung could have done that. She didn't. She just calmly warned me. The lock I would open would lead to a secret room, and the one that would be hurt there would be none other than me. This one has a bad habit of inadvertently destroying the lovely children. I opened the lock. And received what God warned me about. Mr.
yo, so, ha,
A familiar bar. A dim atmosphere. There were many expensive bars on the tower's first floor. They were fully fledged bars, decorated like those in the outside world and filled with a lot of high-end liquors imported from the outside world, which were then sold for jaw-dropped prices. It was a rip-off. However, there were customers everywhere who were willing to accept it in order to scratch that sweet itch. No matter how expensive it was, customers still lined up to buy it. After all, their hometowns were places they could never return to. The outside world. The illusion that you were living a normal life, and had stopped by a normal bar on the outside for a while was worth a few pieces of gold. Mr.
yo, so, ha,
Ong. The bar that
yo, so, ha,
was currently waking up in was a beer bar. It had the nickname Hope. Even in the vast Babylon, it was the only bar that used Korean-style hops. There was a large refrigerator placed in the store, which was filled with familiar brands of beer. There were beer cans that had the brand characters in blue on a silver background as if to show that they were cheap. There were also beer cans with rustic gold borders and gold on its face as if to display their luxury star. And so on. Asterisk, probably Height and Cloud beers. Funnily enough, none of the brands had any Korean on their labels. It was all in English.
Ah.
What is it? 4.
Yo. So. Ha.
Those beer cans were proof of his hometown. The country he'd fled for his life from, and the country whose characters he loudly complained about. In other words, he did not love the characters of his hometown. In fact, everything from there did not know love. The citizens hated the citizens. The people hated the people. The parents hated the children they gave birth to, and the children hated the parents that birthed them. Those people, who hated each other, gathered together to create buildings called schools. They hated it there. Why are you waking me up? Why? The only doctrine
Yo. So. Ha.
had learned in that country was how to hate people. He was born from people who hated each other, and raised by people who hated each other. What else could he learn? Math? Language? Those were as useless as morals. Essentially, the only thing
Yo. So. Ha.
learned was hatred. How many of the parents who conceived and birthed them could say out loud, "I like humans"? How many parents could say they loved humans, without telling lies? It wasn't just the parents. It was the same for the teachers. Over the span of 12 years separated into 6 years, 3 years, and 3 years, countless teachers had occupied
Yo. So. Ha.
time. He had to inhale the breaths of those people into his lungs.
Yo. So. Ha.
Really wanted to ask them, "Do you really like humans?" They probably didn't. However, it was easy to anticipate the answer to the reverse question. "Do you hate humans?" Then, his parents would be the first to raise their hands, yes. Then, the parents standing behind his classmate would raise their hands, yes. Finally, after all the parents and students raised their hands, the teachers standing at the table would nod. Of course, I hate humans too. That's why. Kiss me ass. Mister.
Yo. So. Ha.
You're completely drunk. Someone tapped his shoulder. It was a small hand. This isn't a classroom, mister.
Yo. So. Ha.
Can you see this one? Fuck. Fuck off, bitch. What do you want? What is it? Where is this? Right. Actually, this is a school. Yes. It is Mr.
Yo. So. Ha.
S high school classroom. Does this school have B? There is no school in the world that serves beer for lunch. Tuck. Someone put 2 cans of beer on the table. The drunken man flinched slightly. Then, with drunken eyes, he looked at the 2 cans in front of his nose and sniffed. Boo. It's beer. It is the Korean beer that Mr.
Yo. So. Ha.
always says you would die without. In my opinion, if I had to pick the worst beer in the world, it would be the beer in this place, but people from island nations usually love food from their hometown, so there probably are a few people who think Korean beer is the best. Now. Go ahead. Wah. Wah.
Yo. So. Ha.
Grab the beer can with trembling hands. It must have been cold since it just came out of the freezer, but
Yo. So. Ha.
didn't care. He quickly opened the can and shoved the beer down his throat. Paha. Are you all right? Phew. Woo, that's good. Good.
Ah.
It's good. Where is this place? There are 2 possibilities. Tell me. Our manager. In the first possibility, Mr.
Yo. So. Ha!
Skipped school. Then you went all the way to Samcheongdong with your friends on a scooter. You don't like soju, so you suggested beer instead. You entered a bar that didn't look too bad, and you drank there until you became shit-faced. 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 She it fast.
Yo. So. Ha!
Waved his can of beer as if he'd become a savage warrior from ancient times. The beer in the can seemed to overwhelm the liquid in his body, and
Yo. So. Ha!
gladly accepted the holy water bestowed by Dionysus onto his head.
Yo. So. Ha!
Didn't care, the bar owner didn't care, and the one talking to
Yo. So. Ha!
didn't care. In the second possibility, Mr.
Yo. So. Ha!
is no longer in high school. This isn't a bar in Samcheongdong, or even in Korea at all. Mr.
Yo. So. Ha!
has already become an S-rank hunter who rushed to a bar without thinking and drank until you became shit-faced. Which scenario do you like more, Mr.
Yo. So. Ha!
Now, what's the weather outside like? Currently, the weather on the Korean peninsula is, in short, the rainy season. It rained yesterday, and it rained twice today. Water has already begun to flood the neighborhood, and if you try to walk through the street, you will receive -1, -1, -1, damage over time. Did I bring an umbrella? You didn't. This one also didn't. Fuck. Then let's go with the second possibility. Fuck.
Yo. So. Ha!
Emptied one more can and turned around. Boss. Cough. Bill here. Please calculate the cost first so you can do it properly. The girl snatched
Yo. So. Ha!
wallet. There were a lot of bills from the Bank of Korea folded in the wallet. After counting the bills, the girl asked, "How much did it come up to, boss?" Big brother ate a lot. After counting the side dishes, it is 60,000 won. Oh my god. The girl turned to stare at.
Yo. So. Ha!
Did you really eat that much? Sorry. I think I'm gonna throw up. You want to spit the alcohol back out after swallowing it? Why? Do you think you'll get a discount? You ordered 11 cans of beer and 5 side dishes on your own. Then did that all fit in your belly? Guh. Gup, hup, high up. Cub. Uwek. Queek. Crazy. The girl's expression became rotten. I'll clean that up, boss. No, it's fine. That's all part of the service. Anyways, I'll take the 60,000 won. The girl took out the Korean bills from the wallet and handed it over. Then, the illusion of the bar unraveled. -1 gold coin for a 100,000 won bill? The price has risen slightly these days. It's not easy to bring in Korean money. The bar owner whispered. Chinese money or Japanese money can be brought in easily, but Korean money doesn't serve any purpose in the Tower of Babel apart from being a collector's item. Give me 2 more gold coins. I'll give you plenty of money. That way, when the customer spends a lot, they will pay in Korean money and receive Korean money. Agu, as expected of Mr.
Yo. So. Ha!
S manager. You're so smart and you take good care of our store. The bar owner bowed his head to the girl over and over. That's right. The bars in the Tower of Babel were magic. This place was Korea. It only accepted Korean money and only gave back Korean money. Thus, the customers could taste the beers common in Korean bars, local beers, Belgian beers, and Chinese bottled beers. They could also enjoy boneless chicken, seasoned chicken, and delicate pizza all cooked by the chef. Recently, military provocations in the Korean Strait have intensified. Even the news that was played in the bar was news from the outside world, Korean news. It was a strange sight. There was very little Korean alcohol on the menu of this Korean-style beer bar. The brand names on all the Korean alcohol brands were in English. The side dishes were chicken and pizza, neither of which were foods from Korea. The bill in this beer bar was paid in Korean won. But that was only in the front. Behind the scenes, the exchange value of gold to Korean money was calculated, and they ensured that they wouldn't run out of the casino chips, called Korean money. There were sounds of cheers while hitting beer mugs together. The people shouting were not Korean. None of them. All of those who abandoned their countries and escaped to the tower, for whatever reason, were stripped of their nationalities. In this place without countries, the customers shouted patriotism for a certain country, and in this place without countries, the customers argued furiously about politics, sometimes even to the point of fighting. Mr.
Yo. So. Ha!
The city of the displaced. Are you sober now? Well. Roughly, wow. Normally aura is enough to get rid of the hangover. But I can't do that today for some reason. I feel like I'm going to go crazy from drinking. It's because you promised this one. A girl's voice spoke calmly. You wouldn't use aura today. Huh, what? Hey. Bitch. When did I make such a promise? I can't remember. On the way back from attacking the stage this time, you made a bet with this one about whether the Black Dragon Master would lead her assassins to attack or not. Mr.
Yo. So. Ha!
Bet that she would attack. This one bet that she wouldn't attack. Ah.
Yo. So. Ha!
Furrowed his eyebrows. I remember. Fuck. Black Dragon Master. You dog. Pussy dog bastard. Hey.
So.
Jung. Did you know? If you look at bastard asterisk closely, it's like a real pup. Wow. Is the dog's head and front paws? Is the body and hind legs? Is the ass and tail? Look. Bastard. Wow. I'm a genius. Isn't a bastard really a bastard asterisk? The direct translation is closer to child of a dog. That's right. Bastard.
Yo. So. Ha!
Is really bastard.
Yo. So. Ha!
TL, what she really said was more like child of a.
Yo. So. Ha!
Although you've regained your senses to a certain extent, it still makes this one's heart uneasy. Mr.
Yo. So. Ha!
You didn't forgot about the interview tomorrow, did you? Tomorrow, interview. Yes. The girl. A hunter in the form of Jaw.
So.
Jung answered briefly. It's an interview taught hire a new manager. Grab.
Yo. So. Ha!
Grabbed Jaw.
So.
Jung's small shoulders. I don't need a new manager. It hurts. Hey.
So.
Jung. Are you upset with me? Tell me if you're upset. No matter what you say, Appa will listen to it. Is your salary too low? Should I pour in cash until salt water flows from my mouth? Is someone bothering you? Which bastard? Which fucking bastard? Huh? I'll cut off those bastards' limbs and throw them into a hunting ground on the second floor. Huh?
So?
Jung. I'm a generous man. Tell me. This one. MHM. Well, what is it? I'll listen to anything. It's hard to do things because this one doesn't have strength. I'm short, so it's hard to hold the steering wheel. I have butt, back and neck pain every time I let Mr.
Yo. So? Ha!
Sit at the back as I drive.
We
We need to bring in a new manager. A star-grade hunter like Mr.
Yo. So? Ha!
Needs more manpower. Can't I just carry the burden? Does Mr.
Yo. So? Ha!
intend to drive himself? Yes. Would that be okay? You don't have to give me that form. I'm sorry. I can't. This oppa can accept anything else except that form. If you don't hire a new manager, this one will die of overwork. Pick one. Or I'll retire. Ah. Well. Why are you suddenly considering retirement, Deputy Ja?
So?
Jung. When did the title deputy get added? Just now. It's my guild, I'm the boss and I'm the king. You are Deputy Ja.
So?
Jung from now on.
Ha!
Ja.
So?
Jung sighed. In that case, I'll go to the manager interview tomorrow as scheduled. You have to do that too? Huh? Naturally. I have to select a manager for.
Yo. So?
Ha. When he returned, a colorful banner was already hanging from the guild building. Recruiting a manager for the world ranking #1, S-rank hunter, the tyrant of the Tower of Babel, hunter.
Yo. So?
Ha. Chapter 224. If, 2. Recruiting a manager for the world ranking #1, S-rank hunter, the tyrant of the Tower of Babel, hunter.
Yo. So?
Ha.
Yo. So?
Ha frowned as he looked at the banner.
So?
Jung. Yes. Deputy.
So?
Jung. Please speak. Does this fit the purpose of this event? Is something wrong with it? Ja.
So?
Jung's expression was calm. I specifically prepared this in consideration for the highlight of the century.
Yo. So?
Ha. Reporters will also come on time tomorrow, and I have even planned a special article to be written about whoever is selected to be.
Yo. So?
Ha's aide. For the next 2 weeks, Mr.
Yo. So?
Ha's face will decorate the main page of the portal site. That's really good. Congratulations. Where the fuck did such a good manager pop out from? Ah, bitch.
So?
Jung. This Uncle Asterisk loves you very much. Did you know? It's hot. I can't breathe. You're dirty. Please stay away from me. Please don't breathe when you're close to me. Hey. How am I dirty? How good do you expect a person who did a triple axel vomit 3 times to smell? Fuck. I should have taken a shower. So do you not like the contents of the banner? No, it's not that I don't like that. Wait a minute.
Yo. So?
Ha went into the guild warehouse and returned with a can of paint. OSHA. Bracing himself against the wall, he gently rubbed a brush on the flowing banner. As his brush strokes continued, the original content on the banner was completely covered by new wording. Good. It's complete. Awesome. Recruiting a manager for the world ranking #1, S-rank Hunter, the tyrant of the Tower of Babel, Hunter.
Yo. So. Ha!
And a servant 4-star dot. Asterisk, this was left blank in the raw, but I'm assuming it would be Ja.
So.
Jung. For a moment, Ja.
So.
Jung didn't know what to say. Mr.
Yo. So. Ha!
MHM. Guild leader.
Yo. So. Ha!
What is it? You completely changed the content of the banner. I told you. You are the deputy. You should have a subordinate.
Yo. So. Ha!
Spoke confidently as if he was reciting a natural truth of the world. Where is that bright-eyed rookie who came from nowhere? Who came and became the manager that supported me for a long time? Huh? Social life isn't that easy, Deputy Ja.
So.
Jung. Indeed. Our guild is undoubtedly superior. I will forever be the all-powerful guild leader. Ja.
So.
Jung, you were the second to join, so you deserve to look down on any others. It doesn't matter whether their title is manager or whatever, just pick a servant. That is strong. And can drive. Anyway, just pick a decent bastard. Understood. Good. Then Oh, you weak. That day, the interview was held on the spot where
Yo. So. Ha!
vomited for the 4th time. Of course, Ja.
So.
Jung mopped it up so that the 100 gold guild tiles could show their worth. Twinkle. What motivated you to apply for this job? Ja.
So.
Jung sat in the interviewer's seat and looked at the applicants. The faces of the applicants shined like the tiles she'd just wiped. I'm a hunter from East Asia, just like Flame Emperor Nim. East Asia can do it too. If the conditions are the same in the tower, East Asia has the advantage. I'm here to prove that. Boring. Huh? Ja.
So.
Jung shook her head. Our guild leader hates his homeland. He also hates countries around his homeland. He also hates the earth where the countries are gathered, and he also hates the universe that the earth exists in. Huh? And I think he'd hate you too. Next. Failed. What motivated you to apply? I've always deeply admired Flame Emperor Nim. What do you think about human attraction? Firstly, I feel entranced while looking at the well-sculpted statue of Apollo. This one has heard the metaphor about the statue of Apollo so much that even the word gives me a seizure. Well, fine. This isn't an interview about poetic sensibility. Keep talking. Above all else, a beautiful heart that cares for Anne. Bullshit is contagious. Fail. To be honest, I applied because I want to sleep with Flame Emperor Nim. Is that so? Yes. That's right. Here, please sign these documents. What documents? By chance are they acceptance documents? No. It's a confidentiality agreement. It's a document made by the top 6 hunters with their skills. If you mention what you hear here outside, roughly 13 holes will appear in your body, and your life will be like, oh, is that a way out? I'm leaving, and run away. Will you sign it? I'll sign it. Will you really sign it? Yes, I'll really sign it. Then I'll tell you. I'm listening. Mister.
Yo. So. Ha.
Is a eunuch. Ha. As in impo. He's impotent. Should this one use not only nouns but also verbs and adjectives to explain? Would you understand then? No. That. That is. Remember the 13 holes. For reference, the 13 holes in question does not include your eye holes, nose holes, ear holes, navel hole, pee hole, and poop hole. There will be 13 holes apart from them. Aren't you curious about your body's potential to gain new holes? I won't speak even if I die. Next. Fail. Then. That. So. A scruffy man sat down for an interview. Even one time. I want to breathe the same air highest person in this world. Jaw.
So.
Jung looked at the man. Why do you think like that? More than my life here, more than my life right now, different. I'm not really sure, but I think it might be different. No, it would be. It has to be. I don't have any talent and my skill is weird. I can't go up to the top, I wouldn't be able to. But I might be able to help someone go up there. No. The man got up from his chair and bowed. No matter what, I want to help. Please allow me to be there too. I'll do anything, even chores. The salary, I'm fine as long as it's enough for me to not die from starvation. Please, I beg you. The girl looked down at the man. Jaw.
So.
Jung looked at Kim Gongja. What do you think about the Flame Emperor's personality? Kim Gongja blinked. Please speak honestly. Be really honest. This one must grasp each applicant's mindset as accurately as possible. If you lie here, you might get accepted right away, but you will be kicked out after a day or two. Let's save each other's time. It's a bit. A bit? His personality is bad. Jaw.
So.
Jung frowned for the first time since the interviews started. In what way? First off, Flame Emperor Nim, says he doesn't like being called Flame Emperor Nim. But he doesn't mean that, right? He's just trying to look cool. Because people scream, "You're amazing, you're the best Flame Emperor Nim." Flame Emperor Nim. And then, when he brushes it aside saying, "Who gave me that awful nickname, it looks cool." Brushes it aside? I hate my title. With that one phrase, he makes all the people praising him into his subordinates. The fans think it's cool and like it, it's a perfect virtuous cycle, no, isn't it a vicious cycle? Humph. Jaw.
So.
Jung rested her chin on her clasped fingers. This was also the first time she'd taken such a posture since the interviews started. Interesting. Huh? I understand what you think. Mr. Kim Gongja, can you still work for Mr.?
Yo. So. Ha.
Yes. Mr.
Yo. So. Ha.
Is a much worse person than you think. If you join our guild and act with us, you will be seeing that side of Mr.
Yo. So. Ha.
Whether you like it or not. Depending on the incident, depending on the outcome, and depending on the response, you could be killed to keep your silence. I will ask again. Do you still want to work for Mr.?
Yo. So. Ha.
Kim Gongja thought for a long time. He thought for a long time and then opened his mouth. I'm here to work under Mr.
Yo. So. Ha.
However, I'm not here to work for Mr.
Yo. So, ha, ha,
If Mr.
yo, so, ha,
is worse than I thought, then I really don't know. Perhaps I'll try to stop him. Nevertheless, I will give him at least one chance to regain my trust. I have a strong tendency to do that. Humph. That's why, I'm sorry, but I cannot give a definite answer to the interviewer's question. More interesting. Ja.
so,
Jung tilted her head to the side. Why should I choose you as manager? Because. The man looked up at the girl. Kim Gongja looked at Ja.
so,
Jung. The interviewer is probably the same as me. You aren't working for the Flame Emperor, you're working under the Flame Emperor. Since you took over as manager, you never dressed up the Flame Emperor's personality in a nice way. You never influenced public opinion. You didn't even hire a part-timer. That's why. I'm listening. You are looking for someone who will be your comrade, not your servant. Ja.
so,
Jung smiled. Pass. And. What? F rank?
so,
Jung. I'm pretty sure I asked you last night to find a strong servant. Why did you bring this garbage? The garbage can is right over there. Throw it away. For your information, the collection day is Wednesday. Today is Monday. How would I know that? Just wait for 2 days, mister.
yo, so, ha,
Bully him for 2 days. Then make a decision. No, I made a decision. You seem to be around the same age as me.
yo, so, ha,
Turned to Kim Gongja with a terrifying expression. If you are still F rank at that age, then it's a clear estimate of your life. You are trash, trash. You probably work part-time or something, go for walks in the hunting grounds on the 2nd floor and get some food for the day from the items you picked up. Lock yourself in the corner of a room chatting on the internet all day. Wow, shit, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Hey, Ja.
so,
Jung. You want me to look at this bastard for 2 days? Isn't it the role of a manager to take care of my eye health? Quack. Fuck, what was that? Tangerine juice. Why the hell would you throw tangerine juice into my eyes? It is said that tangerines are good for your eyes, mister.
yo, so, ha,
This fucking bitch, I heard that ginseng is good for your body, so how about I open your skull and fill it with ginseng? Hey, these days when I say,
so,
Jung,
so,
Jung, come here, why do you take your time to come? You wanna die? Do you think I won't kill you? Yes. Fuck. Then. Still, it's pretty fun to pull this bastard. Huff, huff, huff huff.
ugh,
Huff. Look at the way he's crawling after only walking up to the 31st floor. What's wrong with him? It's really fun to watch. Huh? Did you purposefully pick this trash in order to give me a funny present? Yes. As expected, I picked a good manager. Deputy Ja.
so,
Jung. No, Vice President Ja.
so,
Jung. I'm going to add Vice President to our
so,
Jung too. I'll dig up some aramantalium and make a nameplate for you. Vice President Ja.
so,
Jung. President.
so,
Jung Star. How does that sound? Both of them are SJ.
so,
Jung was born to be president. Asterisk, president is Sejang. Huff, 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 hup, huf. Mr. Gongja is dying. Let him die. That would also be a blessing. That's right. May you be blessed asterisk, Mr. Gongja. Asterisk, Bok Baduzio. Perhaps you might have heard it in a drama. Many blessings asterisk, part-timer. Asterisk, Bok Mani Baduzio. Or this one. Fuck. And. Time passed. Chapter 225. If, 3. And. Time passed. Everyone. Have faith in the sacred tower. Ring, ring. A gentleman wearing short-sleeved clothes walked around the square ring a handbell. Why is the tower called the Tower of Babel? Do any of you know why? The reason is simple. Because every human in this place can communicate with each other. It is a miracle cast down by God. God once destroyed the Tower of God. But after thousands of years, He has mercifully granted humanity the opportunity to ascend to heaven once more. We should all be thankful for God's mercy. That day, Kim Gongja was in the guild.
Yo. So. Ha.
Had created the
Yo. So. Ha.
guild. His vanity could be seen in the fact that the 3 characters of the guild's name were the same as his own. There were only 4 names written on the register.
Yo. So. Ha.
Ja.
So.
Jung. Kim Gongja. And a pet slime. Despite having only 4 members, the location of the office building was amazing. Babylon, the city on the first floor of the Tower of Babel. The central square intersection was commonly referred to as the prime real estate in Dongchen City. They used a 3-story office building that was built there as the guild building. It was a waste of money. But one person's waste was another person's happiness. Kim Gongja sat elegantly on the guild terrace which overlooked the square drinking a white mocha frappuccino venti quadra shot Java chip half and half chocolate drizzle that he'd ordered through a delivery app. What kind of bullshit is that? What do you mean? It's a pseudo-religion. As expected, Ja.
So.
Jung, who also sat on the terrace, answered shortly. She was drinking carrot juice with a straw while doing work on her laptop. Don't listen to those people, Mr. Kim Gongja. They snatch up prey by making them curious about their bullshit, then they boil them one by one. The things they say that don't make sense are all bait. They make use of battles of wit. You'll walk in thinking, since I'm smart, I can refute their nonsense, get trapped, brainwashed, and one day, you'll find yourself spreading the word of God in the middle of the square. Do those people use such sophisticated strategies? Really? Mr. Kim Gongja, religion sprouts from people's guilt, pseudo-religions build their nests in human arrogance. Hey! Suddenly.
Yo. So. Ha.
Walked up and looked over the terrace. There are still jokes like that in Babylon. I saw those guys a lot outside. Was it in Myeongdong? Hey, part-timer. Have you ever been to Myeongdong? No. It looks kind of like hell. Anyways, it's amazing. There are a lot of pseudos in 10,000 Temple. What will they think of someone propagating their religion in the square like that? Sure enough. Before.
Yo. So. Ha.
Could even finish speaking, the sound of a whistle resounded across the square. Beep beep. Beep beep beep. And 10,000 temple members in white uniforms ran out. You can't do that here. It's against the rules.
Oh.
I would like to ask what you all are doing here. The tower is the holiest miracle in millennia. Brothers. Everyone is standing in the middle of a miracle. And yet, we're still not grateful. No, this gentleman, really. Repent. Everyone. Look back on your prejudice and arrogance. The tower is not a hunting ground or a playground. Everyone, we are all brothers experiencing the miracle of God together. Be humble. God is giving you a second chance. What are you doing? Hurry up and piss off. The 10,000 temple members dragged the evangelist away. Even while being dragged away, the evangelist was still reverent. With a face full of confidence, he shouted, "Repent! Everyone, you still have time to repent." Ahem. After a while, the commotion subsided. That's suspicious. Ja.
So?
Jung murmured. Huh? They're too intelligent. While answering Kim Gongja's question, Ja.
So?
Jung tapped away at her laptop. Usually, the pseudo-missionaries are full of hostility. They have a clear enemy in the world, and that is the birth of sin, so they believe it is their duty to fight it. However, this evangelist was a bit different. What do you mean? He didn't display any hostility. Tap tap tap. Ja.
So?
Jung looked down at her laptop expressionlessly. He only displayed the attitude of being genuinely concerned about everyone and trying to convince them. This is a stance that religious groups of any size can take. They don't have to assume that there is an enemy, and instead have the confidence deep in their core that they are right. Ja.
So?
Jung tapped the keyboard. Indeed. That person entered today. There were multiple pictures of the man on the laptop screen. It was the man who had been ringing the handbell in the square just a moment ago. The fuck?
Yo. So? Ha!
Who was watching the two of them from behind was surprised. President.
So?
Jung. No, deputy.
So?
Jung. What are you doing? I searched the identity of the man who was just taken away by the 10,000 temple. I know. I also have a pair of eyes. The question is, which server did you steal it from? Huh?
So?
Jung. I'm not saying this 'cause I'm scared, but you know how troublesome it is to touch the civil militia, don't you? Don't worry. Ja.
So?
Jung closed the laptop. Then she went to the desk drawer and pulled out another one. Regardless of how exaggerated Mr.
Yo. So? Ha!
S impression of hacking is, this one didn't break into any servers, nor did I touch the civil militia.
Ha!
Then how did you steal that guy's information? I simply looked at the legitimate ID information stored in the entry management office. Ja.
So?
Jung opened the second laptop and accessed a certain place. The basic personal information of those who enter the tower from the outside is stored in the entry management office for a while until they are officially registered as residents. At least 1 hour. At most 1 week. Once their resident registration is complete, that data will all be destroyed and transferred to the civil militia's management office. Kim Gongja's expression wasn't so good. This was because it felt like this was information from a world that he didn't know. That data is easily accessible? Yes, relatively. You just need an entry management office ID. Where did you get that ID? Office workers are humans too, Mr. Kim Gongja. There are many ways to persuade humans. Kim Gongja got a glimpse of this guild's darkness. Of course, since the security is poor, the information isn't that great. At best, it would only contain very basic information, such as the country and the outside world they are from, the school they went to, and so on. However, Ja.
So?
Jung continued. That basic information sometimes contains their SNS ID. A blue screen appeared on the laptop. Ja.
So?
Jung nodded. There is. Ja.
So?
Jung showed her colleagues the screen. On it was the picture of a familiar man on the profile of an SNS account. Plus. Following 26. Followers 5,313,046. Kim Gongja's eyes widened. 5 million people. Isn't that a lot? It's quite a lot. He's the vice president of an organization known as the Three Tower Society. Let me do a little search. Ja.
So?
Jung's eyes became serious. This organization has been active since 7 years ago. It is one of the internet religions that has grown popular recently. Internet religion. They are religions which do not make branches in any particular country. Instead, they use SNS accounts or video site accounts as their branches. They do their evangelism through the internet. For example, when the religious leader uploads a specific video, the members of the religion attract as many viewers and subscribers as possible. This is what they call evangelism. Ja.
So?
Jung even found the group's official video account. Look. This is a video of a service. It seems the active believers in this regard are limited to the religious leader and vice-religious leader. Like this. Ja.
So?
Jung played a video. It looked like a live broadcast in which a well-dressed gentleman was showing the scene of a disaster in a country. Many similar videos were uploaded. Earthquake relief, this is how your donations are used. Top 10 examples of evangelism, meeting and talking to a Tibetan monk, going to see if the Himalayas are really melting, is the tower proof of divinity, and so on. Their accounts can't be banned because they mix in a lot of volunteering videos. It's also not like they make radical arguments in their videos. When the religious leader or vice-religious leader uploads a video, it will quickly spread across SNS, which will then develop radical arguments on their own. Mr. Kim Gongja, you asked if pseudo-organizations utilize such sophisticated strategies, right? Yes, that's right. Not all of them, but some do. Kim Gongja had an ominous feeling. Similarly,
Yo. So? Ha!
Frowned. So? This self-proclaimed star religious leader with over 5 million followers chose to abandon the glory and honor of the outside world and crawl into the tower? The vice-religious leader, to be precise. Ja.
So?
Jung corrected. And here is his reason for entering the tower. Tap. Ja.
So?
June pressed the enter key. From now on, I will jump into the tower. Brothers. A video started playing on the laptop. The man speaking in the video was the vice-religious leader. As you all know, tomorrow is the day the Tower of Babel collapsed in the ancient past. Tomorrow, God will decide whether to destroy the Tower of Babel again, just like he did thousands of years ago. In order to ask God for mercy, and to prove that there is still hope for humanity, I will personally go into the tower and raise the awareness of the inhabitants of that corrupt tower. The vice-religious leader spoke reverently. I will probably be arrested. I might die. However, if my evangelism succeeds, I will prevent the collapse of the tower, and if I fail my evangelism and die, God will know that there is at least one believer on this earth who sacrificed himself for humanity. If I live, then I live for humanity, and if I die for humanity. This is my way of worshipping God. The vice-religious leader made a triangle with his hands. That seemed to be their symbol. Everyone. We have watched the atrocities of the tower for too long. We waited for them to repent and purify themselves. But with the collapse of the second Tower of Babel around the corner, we can no longer just watch and wait. If my sacrifice is confirmed, everyone should immediately enter the tower as well. Kim Gongja opened his mouth. Do not fear death. What we need to fear isn't the death of each individual, but the tragedy of mankind betraying God's mercy once again. Everyone, we need to stop this tragedy with our bodies and blood. We will cleanse the tower by eliminating as many of the corrupted as possible. I will go first. Even if I die. Everyone. Then the video stopped.
Yo! So? Ha!
Had reached out and stopped the video. Are they psychos? The television in the guild office was broadcasting Korean baseball. He's out. Out. The anchor shouted. Next to the television sat.
Yo! So? Ha!
Baseball cap. This is a declaration of war. Kim Gongja murmured. Something big might happen. Mr.
Yo! So? Ha!
You have to go to the 10,000 temple right now and tell them.
Yo! So? Ha!
Reacted indifferently. It's fine. Things like this have happened once or twice before. Crazy people have been crawling into the tower since a long time ago. If you want to go, go on your own. Kim Gongja and Ja.
So?
Young did just that. The two of them ran out of the guild office. The 10,000 temple also knew how to waste money. They built a temple in a place with high land prices, and the two were able to meet the lord of the 10,000 temple easily by using the name.
Yo! So? Ha!
Secretary. Good day, Ms. Secretary. And the newly elected part-timer too. How may I help you? It's been a while, Lord of the 10,000 Temple. I'm sorry to bring this up right after meeting you, but I have something to tell you right away. Oh ho. The heretic questioner's hands were dirty as if he'd stopped what he was doing and come over in a hurry. To be precise, the heretic questioner's left hand was covered in red liquid. The heretic questioner smiled while wiping his hand with a handkerchief. What's the hurry? Didn't you just drag a believer of a pseudo-religion from the square? Yes. He was arrested according to the rules. That believer, is he still in good health? He was intact. The heretic questioner smiled brightly. Until about 40 seconds ago. Miss Secretary asked to meet, saying it was urgent, so I quickly took care of the work I was doing. You don't need to worry. Everything was done according to the proper procedure. Did you kill him? Yes. The heretic questioner was very vivacious. He didn't give an excuse or an explanation. There wasn't any mention of the other party being stubborn or that he had no choice. It wasn't clear who started speaking. But before they could continue, there was a sound from somewhere. Woo-woong. Mr. Part-Timer. It seems you have a call. Kim Gongja bowed his head. As he said, the smartphone in his pocket was vibrating. Kim Gongja had followed the video account and SNS account that Ja.
So?
Young had found. And he'd received a notification. Getting an ominous feeling as he expected, Kim Gongja took out his smartphone. A new video has been uploaded. Ja.
So?
Young also took out her smartphone. While the heretic questioner watched on with a tilted head, the new video was played. Brothers. The person who appeared in the video had an unfamiliar face. It was not the vice religious leader, but another member of the religion. The young man spoke grimly. The vice religious leader was just dragged away by the hands of the heretics. As expected, they are hopeless. The vice-religious leader didn't resist, not even a single punch. He only continued to preach out of concern for them till the very end. The young man's face was unfamiliar. But the background of the video was very familiar. Kim Gongja furrowed his brow. That place, isn't it Babylon Square? That's right. This isn't good. This is really not good. Ja.
So?
Jung muttered. The young man in the video continued. Now, I will begin the promised purification. Brothers. I love you. The young man tucked his hand into his coat. I love you. I love humans, humanity. I love God. Please love everyone too. Please do not betray God's love. I love you. Then the video cut off. There was no need to wonder why it cut off. A huge roar was heard through the walls of the temple. It came from the direction of the square. There was a moment of silence.
Ah.
I understand. The heretic questioner chuckled. It seems I made a stupid mistake. Immediately after, a siren blared. Chapter 226. If, for. Boom. The next explosion occurred a bit closer, causing the entire building to shake. The guild priests of the 10,000 temple used their aura together to create a shield. Inside the shield, the heretic questioner, Kim Gongja and Ja.
So?
Jung struggled to remain standing. As expected, the products of America are impressive. Despite the terrorism, the heretic questioner's expression was still bright. It's a good thing this facility wasn't destroyed. I'm grateful. Mr. Heretic Questioner. Ja.
So?
Jung brushed dust off of her face. She was as calm as usual. However, this situation won't just end here. The number of followers in the organization that planned this terrorism is above 5 million. The number of explosions could increase. Did you say they have 5 million followers? How many of them are believers, and how many of them would be willing to take action? Ahaha. Faith is an abstract concept, but death is real. Nevertheless, even if it's 1 in 1,000. No, even if only 1 in 10,000 takes action, that's still 500 people. 500 explosions. Yes. The man in charge of the tower's religion fixed his cap. And 500 is a number we can afford. It would be nice if we could have identified the terrorists and wiped them out in advance. But it's already too late. So, since I'm the one who made the mistake, I will take charge of the cleanup. Ja.
So?
Jung hesitated for a moment. For her, this was unusual. The cleanup. Of course, I will kill all of the suspicious individuals. It might be difficult to reduce 5 million to 250,000, but it wouldn't be hard to reduce 500 to 250, again to 125, and again to less than 50. The Black Dragon Master will declare martial law again. It's been 7 years. Aha, we had peace for a long time. Kim Gongja was at a loss for words. The walls shook again. That was also a bomb. How? Kim Gongja spoke without realizing it. How can you say something like that? The heretic questioner turned to look at Kim Gongja. As he asked this, Kim Gongja looked at those eyes that could be described as innocent. Reptilian eyes could also be called innocent. The heretic questioner was smiling with the innocence of a beast. Why can't I say it? Thinking, speaking and acting in this manner leads to quicker and clearer conclusions. So why shouldn't I talk like this? Is it because it offends Mr. Part-Timer? That's not the problem. No, that is the problem. Someone has to do it anyway. If it's something that needs to be done anyway, it would be better to do it without the unnecessary rhetoric. It is the virtue of a politician to carry about the mood of the public, but we all agreed to leave that to the Black Dragon Master a long time ago. Kim Gongja grit his teeth. A small hand rested on his shoulder as he was about to shout. It was Ja.
So?
Yung. Mr. Gongja. Don't try to change him. There is no time now. Instead, it would be better to use him. Use. Although it's surprising, the person in front of Mr. Gongja now is someone who can be persuaded. After hearing those words, Kim Gongja thought hard. We need to reduce the number of bombing victims as much as possible. However, we can't just sacrifice innocent people because they appear suspicious. What can I do? How can I persuade the heretic questioner and use him? Use. Suddenly, Kim Gongja realized something. It's the 10,000 temple. The heretic questioner paused. Huh? It's the 10,000 temple. Kim Gongja spoke urgently. You're the ones that captured the vice-religious leader. He died. But he didn't just die in the 10,000 temple, you killed him personally. Until a short while ago, the heretic questioner's left hand had been covered in blood. The heretic question tilted his head to the side. Yes. That's right. But how did the young man who streamed the video from the square find out that the vice-religious leader was dead so quickly? He couldn't have used clairvoyance, nor could he have looked into the 10,000 temple's torture chamber. Kim Gongja saw the heretic questioner's eyes shake. That means a traitor within the 10,000 temple relayed the information about the vice-religious leader's death to his comrades. The heretic questioner tried to make a cross sign. It was unclear if he intended to increase the power of the shield, or if he was trying to kill the aides present or the 10,000 temple's officers. It remained unknown. Because with the roar of an explosion, the world seemed to flip upside down. It became upright again before flipping over once again. Before he knew what was happening, Kim Gongja found himself lying on the ground. Except for the feeling of something covering his back, something very warm, Kim Gongja couldn't feel anything. It also felt like he could hear the cries of cicadas inside his ears. Then, through his broken hearing, he heard someone mutter. There was an unnecessarily quick-witted bastard here. Kim Gongja didn't know who it was. But he knew it was not the voice of the heretic questioner, and definitely not the voice of Ja.
So?
Yung. In that case, it could only be one of the 10,000 temple priests that had been there. The footsteps of the owner of the voice could be heard as they walked somewhere. It's a pity. We could have used you for a long time. Who were they talking to? All you had to do was act like a doll and move like a doll. 10,000 temple master. However, we can't do anything with a broken doll. Except throw it away. Fortunately, today's a big day, so this loss shouldn't be too bad. And Kim Gongja forever lost the chance to see the traitor's face. There was a flash, then a scream. Then, the man who had been reveling in the success of his betrayal could no longer make a sound. Although he'd been able to betray his boss hadn't fully trusted him. No, the traitor had failed to realize the fact that his boss had never fully trusted anyone in the first place. Ahaha. A small hand patted Kim Gongja's cheek. Are you all right? Are you alive?
Ugh.
Fuck. Well, seeing as the first thing you did was swear, I guess you really are the Flame Emperor's subordinate. What is your name? Kim Gongja. If you can swear and say your name, then you are at least half alive. Can you open your eyes, Mr. Kim Gongja? Kim Gongja opened his eyes. Through his red-tinted vision, he saw the heretic questioner was smiling at him. Kim Gongja realized that his red vision wasn't just because he himself was bleeding. Good. That's a relief. At least there is one person who knows what's going on left. The heretic questioner was also covered in blood. There was also the stench of blood on his breath. 10,000 Temple, Master. Yes. What about Manager Ja?
So.
Jung. Kim Gongja opened his mouth with difficulty. What about Ja?
So.
Jung. The heretic questioner just said, at least there is one person left. Kim Gongja hoped that was just an error in his arithmetic. Now is not the time to care about others. The heretic questioner coughed up a mouthful of blood. It was excessively bright blood. It wasn't just blood, there were also bits of flesh mixed in with it. Treatment. Kim Gongja finally spoke. The heretic questioner raised one hand to stop him. 0. There's no need. It wouldn't be in time. I can't survive. If you don't try. I don't need to try to know. Rather, it's more efficient to just do what I can now. The heretic questioner coughed up some more blood. Blood splashed on Kim Gongja's cheek. Almost subconsciously, Kim Gongja got to his feet. He was reminded of when he went to the amusement park with the director when he was much younger, and the way the world spun when he came off of the roller coaster. When he got up, the thing clinging to his back slipped down and fell to the ground, but he refused to pay any attention to it. Kim Gongja was finally able to get a proper look at the heretic questioner. He had been sitting in front of Kim Gongja. However, Kim Gongja wasn't sure whether he could call this posture sitting. The heretic questioner, who had been torn in half at the waist, opened his mouth. As Mr. Kim Gongja implied, I believe this terrorist attack was more prepared than I expected. It was my mistake. Don't talk about that, now, your body. It's the opposite. I have to talk about this now that I'm in this state. The blood and cough. So this is what it looks like when America's proud products explode inside. It must look like this in the other places too, 10,000 Temple Master, don't talk, those people. Instead of bringing the others, here. The heretic questioner pulled something out of his pocket. 2 things. A small doll, and a hand mirror with a black dragon around the border. The heretic questioner smiled at Kim Gongja, who accepted it subconsciously. The first one is called an idol. It represents my proxy. For the time being, the 10,000 temple is now yours. Kim Gongja froze. Why me? As I said before, Mr. Kim Gongja is the only one here who can move. Kim Gongja grit his teeth. He didn't turn around or look back. The heretic questioner continued. However, to be honest, I don't know if this symbol has any meaning. I don't know if the system I created will continue to work after my death. Nevertheless, it's better than nothing. For now, it's the second item that's the most important. This mirror. A mirror. It's called the Black Dragon Mirror. It is used to communicate with the other guild leaders. They are emergency tools given to us by the Black Dragon Master. Tell them you're my proxy. The heretic questioner stopped speaking. Kim Gongja waited for him to continue. It took him a while to realize it wouldn't come. Kim Gongja opened his mouth. 10,000 Temple Master? There was no answer. There would no longer be any answer. 10,000 Temple Master. Life carried on mercilessly and disappeared without warning. Kim Gongja stood quietly in the ruined room, looking down at the 2 relics in his hands. It wasn't too long after. Determination spread across his face. I have to move. But how? And where? He was an unknown E-rank hunter, but fortunately, the heretic questioner wasn't the only one who died. And Kim Gongja wasn't the only survivor. People were moving around desperately, and as a result of that, he could hear their voices. Damn it. A sound came from the mirror in his hand. Children. Are you alive, children? Answer me if you are. Kim Gongja knew the owner of the voice. There was probably no one in the tower who didn't know. Black Dragon Guild Master? Huh? What the? Who are you? Kim Gongja took a deep breath. Then, he briefly explained the situation. For a moment, there was silence on the other side of the mirror, then the voice spoke. Right. Well. I guess that child is no longer living. You believe me? MHM. I received a skill from the Crusader in the past. It roughly. Shit. The Black Dragon Master murmured for a while. Her voice wasn't just thick with saliva, it was thick with blood. Are you injured? A bit. It's been a while since I was stabbed by an assassin. The second-ranked hunter. A being who held the greatest authority in the tower both in name and in reality. Kim Gongja was still able to reason his composure despite hearing that such a figure had almost been assassinated. Perhaps his reason had just been paralyzed by the series of major incidents. No other voices sounded apart from the voices of Kim Gongja and the Black Dragon Master. Even after Kim Gongja had taken a while to explain the entire situation, no one joined the communication. The Black Dragon Master quietly said what this implied. This is a major hit. Perhaps the second largest since the tower was built. Well, there were a lot of grudges. Cough. The guys who tried to kill me were the chief and deputy chief of the American Foreign Affairs Office. I thought it was just another power play, but, fuck, those CIA bastards. They are even using fake bastards to fuck with us now. Where are you, Black Dragon Master? I'll come see you. A laugh joined the coughing. What could you do after coming here? You're not Miss Secretary or your master. This was something that Kim Gongja knew better than anyone else. But I can't stay still either. You're young. There was a hint of sorrow in the Black Dragon Master's voice. And a very brief sigh. But the sorrow soon gave way to cold calculation. However, you have no power. I don't need that. Before Kim Gongja could react, the Black Dragon Master continued. Usually, in situations like this, the guild leaders would hold a meeting to decide a leader. But in this situation, Black Dragon Master, I will take command. The Black Dragon Master took a deep breath. From this moment onward, the owner of the city said. Her voice didn't just flow out of the Black Dragon mirror. Instead, it flowed through the already ruined Babylon Square, the streets, the slums. Her voice flowed from the street lights installed on every street, and the speakers that were attached to them. I declare martial law. I am the leader of the Black Dragon Guild, the Black Dragon Master. I will say it again. I hereby declare martial law as of this time. The sound of blood flowing could be heard between the Black Dragon Master's words. Currently, the outside world has mobilized an unknown number of enemies and caused several explosions in the tower. I have lost contact with the other guild leaders. The casualties might be anywhere from the thousands to the tens of thousands. The sound of a cough. Anyway. The tower hasn't belonged to anyone since it was built. There were those who killed people while claiming that the tower belonged to God, there were those who killed people while claiming the tower belonged to the Federation *, and there are those who killed people while claiming that the tower belonged to the underground. *, This could be Federation, or it could be a mistake and should instead be the United States. There have been enough errors in the Ross that I can't be sure. The fact that the person in authority who was issuing the orders was bleeding could be clearly heard in the crumbling Babylon Square. However, decades later, we can bluntly say that this tower is ours. It is our territory. We are the tower's humans. The sky in the tower is our airspace. The rivers in the tower are our waterways. The land in the tower is our land. And we call those who invade our sky, water, and land our enemies. The Black Dragon Master swallowed her saliva. Perhaps she was swallowing blood. Carrying that bloody scent, the Black Dragon Master's cry burst through the speakers. This is war. The sound echoed simultaneously through all the streets where the speakers were installed. This is war. It echoed even from the back of a mother, who was cradling her child beneath a speaker. In this situation where the security of the tower has been compromised, the Black Dragon declares martial law and declares that we will win this war as quickly as possible. And I promise. I will grant revenge without mercy to the enemies who dared to rock the tower.